There's a tempest in me.
Fuck off, Rings of Power. So, the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power have landed on the shores of Terra, and there's a lot to talk about. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, it ain't no Peter Jackson. This is a difficult one to review. Part of me doesn't want to review it based on Tolkien because this is about as Tolkien as much as A Stone is Like a Boat.
I got a good brain.
And about 1 million YouTubers have already gone into it. The other part of me wants to talk about it on its, standalone merits. However, it doesn't really have any. So I think we're going to have to do this one a bit off the cuff.
You dirty fecker.
First big question, is this an entertaining show? No. No, it's fucking not. It's pretty boring. Nothing has really happened over the first 3 episodes. All we've had is pure exposition. Characters telling us what is happening and what they're doing, because it seems the writers of this show think people watching it are as thick as shit and can't work it out for themselves. You just sit back and look at those pretty images.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends. Can you go fuck yourself?
However, what we are being told is not anything of particular interest, and it's not really pushing the story on. I mean, 3 hours of an 8-hour series has passed, and it is boring as fuck, and we've learned fuck all.
That is one big pile of shit.
The problem is, there is a hell of a lot of fluff in this show. And honestly, at the moment, 3 hours of runtime you could probably cut down into about 35-40 minutes. One thing the show has done so far, though, is pretty much cemented itself as saying women are great and know everything. Men are stupid and fuck all.
Gay!
First off, of our main characters, we have Galadriel. She shows us how stunning and brave she is. And by that, what I mean is, the writers have written a character to be like a man, but more cunty. This woman cracks on. We see her climbing the ice wall with her team, her men far behind her while she pushes on. We get a cutscene to see her halfway up the mountain while her fellow elves are behind looking up at her in awe. My god, that woman can climb. In another scene, we see them in a blizzard pushing on, her at the front. One of her men drops behind, while another shouts to her to say, stop! But she says, no, we must keep moving. Fuck you, Fanny Man. Which, for, a team you've been with for hundreds of years, you'd think you would stop immediately and go and help them. Which she does help after, she comes to her senses a bit. There is a scene where her crew are attacked by a snow troll, and they pretty much get fucked over because they're men and they're shit. And she seems to wait for the right time to single-handedly take it down herself.
Fuck off!
She solves puzzles with no help from anyone. Not only is she the bestest ever, but she's the smartest too. So with this, in the first part of episode 1, we have been introduced to a single-minded, selfish, arrogant leader who has what seems like contempt for her team. This team has been searching for Sauron for hundreds of years. They should be a well-oiled machine now, and she should be working with them to get through any challenge that they face. Now, I can't tell if the writers think that strong, confident male leaders are like this, or if they just wanted her to be better than any man and show that. I mean, to be honest, probably both. Either way, it made her the most hated character of the show for most people, which is weird because Morfydd Clark came out and said she needed therapy after all her fight scenes. Now, I'm not being funny, but from what we've seen so far, all she's fighting is fucking green screen CGI. I'm not actually sure how that would give you such bad anxiety. Yeah, well, on second thoughts. I mean, she's that fucking annoying, even Gil-galad tries to get rid of her, and that kind of makes me think about another film.
But the fact is, you've been making us all look bad. Appreciate your efforts, but you've been rather letting the side down. Carry on running around town, you'll continue to be exceptional, and we can't have that.
With respect, sir, you can't just make people disappear.
Yes, I can.
The fucking king. Our other brave woman is Bronwyn, who is having the most boring secret love with Arundel the elf, or as some like to call him, Nafiz. Interesting way to replace the N-word there, Amazon. Anyway, these two boring fuckers talk more like two strangers who glance at each other than lovers, and their basic story arc to kick them off is they see some sludge come out of a cow's tit that had been grazing over yonder and decide to walk for a day to neighbouring town to see what's going on. Bronwyn, the strong, brave woman she is, leaves her young child to fend for himself for 2 days while she disappears off to get finger banged by the elf.
Big ass titties!
They go and investigate into the town and they find it all burnt out, and in one building they find a tunnel underground. Knife Ears dives in to have a look, and as it's likely to be orcs, he thinks it's worth going in and checking anyway, but he gets captured. In the meantime, Bronwyn walks back and tells everyone in her town that they need to run as it'll be our town next, but stupid men don't believe her. She then kills an orc with the help of her child because it's tunnelled into her room, and she chops its head off and puts it in front of the stupid men to prove her point. You stupid fucking men. Our next stunning and brave woman is Nori Brandyfoot, our hobbit, our Irish hobbit. Sorry, Harford. We're Harfords here, thank you very much. Old Nori Cobblepot is the cheekiest of them all, and one day she finds a wizard, Gandalf, or not Gandalf, but probably is Gandalf. We're not quite sure, but we think it's Gandalf. Anyway, she looks after him because old Nori Whiskey Tits here is the bestest of them all, and she can have her Frodo story too, don't you know?
Wicked, twitsy, sneaky little hobbitses.
Our final strong woman is Disa, who is actually the main actress of the show, running her mouth off about how she's the first female dwarf ever and called herself the first dwarf of colour.
You serious?
Surprisingly though, she was actually one of the best characters. In a show full of miserable gobshites, her bubbly loving character was nice to see. And with her, she basically tells Elrond and Prince Durin, who are having a lover's tiff, to basically stop being so silly and kiss and wear makeup. Sorry, kiss and makeup.
Gay!
Talking of women, the men in this show are pretty effeminate themselves. Elrond, a mighty warrior in Tolkien, is now, in Rings of Power, Oscar Wilde. And Lord Celebrimbor is, I don't know, is he fucking Liberace? I'm not quite sure. But I'll tell you now, if he was in this world today, he'd be having his computer seized. All the elves look like they're about 17 and fresh from a Tommy Hilfiger advert, except for Elrond, who in some shots looks like a 12-year-old boy.
You dirty fecker.
And in others, like a 52-year-old man. What did I like? Well, this will be short. There were some nice visuals. You know, they've spent 60 million per episode.
Gay!
So you'd think, you know, at the least there would be some good visuals. And there are. But it is peppered sparingly over the 3 hours that we've seen. The big pano of Sauron is a nice touch. The 3 seconds of watching a big battle where one of the giant eagles gets taken out. That was a fun little watch for the briefest 3 seconds of your life, ladies. I think the best thing we've seen so far is Khazad-dûm, where the dwarves live. And then within seconds, you're then brought to like a very small room, and it kind of feels a bit claustrophobic. From this big sweeping visual of Khazad-dûm to then this tiny little room with 30 dwarves, Elrond and Prince Durin just smashing up rocks. It's not great. And that's part of what makes this a little bit shit. Numenor was another sort of grandstanding scene, but the CGI just wasn't spot on. It was good, like it looked nice, but you could tell it was green screen. And I know people go, well, of course you can tell it's green screen, it's not a fucking real place. I know that, dickhead. What I'm saying is, when you see the backdrop against the actors, it's plainly visible.